Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's podcast. So today on the podcast we have Sunil Vishnoi, who is a very good friend of mine who has been connected with me through the social media like Instagram and everything. So I would not talk more about him. Let him do the talking. So Sunil, just tell me about something about yourself. Like what do you do and like what are you doing currently?
Yeah, so like my friend said, my name is Sunil Vishnu, and I am a Mumbai girl, and I did my graduation in Bachelor's of Mass Media. So this degree BMM is quite famous in Mumbai, and everybody wants a piece of it. So I did my graduation from MMK College. It's in Bandra, and I majored in advertising. So I took right after my graduation, I started to put the theories in practice. So I jumped into internships, and later on, I found out that what these colleges are teaching in in classrooms are quite different from what's been going on in the industry. So I thought of getting a deeper dive in marketing and advertising. So I pursued MBA in marketing from IMD Nagpur, and turns out what was taught in BMM in undergraduation was a little bit more like a tip of iceberg, but there was a lot more to cover for me, and that that curiosity made me realize that okay, advertising is not just art; it's more like science as well. So marketing and advertising goes hand in hand, and it's not just fancy advertisements. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I learned all of that in my MBA. And fortunately, I got a chance to use it in my internships as well. So currently, I'm waiting for my joining letter from Deloitte Consulting, and I moved my area of expertise and my interest from advertising to more like consulting. And to be very specific, I still like advertising, but I am more inclined towards service marketing. So I'll come to that in the
Yeah.
podcast later. So right now, currently, in this month, I'm doing internship for a consulting firm, and I'm heading or leading their events department. So promotions and advertisements come under my umbrella. So I think that's
Yeah, sure, surely. Like advertising and marketing is most of the people think that it is just a narrow concept, like just putting an ad on TV or putting an ad on newspaper. That's advertising, but it's a whole new different world out there. Like marketing also, like if I had a conversation with my grandfather with regards to marketing, so his main idea would be that yeah, marketing is just about selling and how you can attract people and that's it. But it's a different world out there. Like when you step in, then you understand like how things are and how like what it's a totally different world, right? So yeah, so basically the one thing like your creative part of your like your life, like the things that you put out on Instagram and social media, like the word plays that you do and the creative arts that you do. So talk to me about that, like how did all that start and what is the main thing, like the spark behind your interest towards consulting, advertisement, marketing and everything?
so. I started out very late. I started in 2017. Uh, to be precise, it was month of April or May of 2017, and I started out very late. Although I was using Instagram from 2015 or the inception of Instagram, but I never used it for my poor jokes or wordplays. So in my graduation years, we used to get a lot of projects on creativity and brainstorming and making creative or advertising campaigns, marketing campaigns. So at that point of time, I tried to, I tried to bring as much as new ideas as possible in those projects. But I never thought of Instagram as a platform to showcase it. So if I talk about my college projects, then there was one project where we were asked to redesign logos and not just like redesign it with elements, but with a backstory, with a storyline. So that gave when I completed the project, my professor told me that okay, you have a knack of it, but what are you doing in BMM? You should go for a residential program or someplace nice rather than going into BMM, because what BMM was a very small or a very small platform to explore these new ideas, because a residential program gives you 24 hours experience with peer learning opportunities, and this holistic approach will certainly grow your creativity as well as your personality. But BMM was a course where you just needed to attend few lectures, and half of them you can just bunk it because there was no attendance. So it was just a sake of degree. So just a paper that you get after 3 years. So I got a lot of appreciation from my professor, and they asked me to explore on these grounds. And project by project, I got more guidance from my professors, and then I started writing down few, not few, but started writing down wordplays, and you know how sarcasm works. So if
Yeah.
somebody says that's a poor joke, then it will definitely go viral. So,
Yeah.
so then slowly and steadily, I came across ad parody and then fake ad co. So these few accounts gave me an idea. Okay, that Instagram is a platform where I can showcase and where I'll get likes, and it will help me grow as a person, as personality, and my skills. So I came across ad parody and fake ad group. And I don't think at that time Zomato was doing that really good compared to recent times, but ad parody and fake ad go were on top of the line, and
Yeah.
I spoke with them. I got a little bit of guidance from them. I even joined them for a few of the initial posts, and slowly and steadily, I did not get likes in the earlier phase. But after a year, in 2018, I made this one post on Amazon Prime. So it was mockery kind of a post, and to get into limelight or to get attention from mad over marketing and social support are these pages. I used to tag
Yeah.
them on every single post of mine to get a little bit of attention that okay, this guy's
For sure.
post has some potential to be featured on these pages. So I was just walking down on the street and just using my cell phone, and I saw a notification that Madover Marketing had featured my post, and that that moment was the very first milestone of my Instagram journey. And within an hour, I got around 100 to 150 followers, and I never saw such a fan following or a loyal followers of Meadow Marketing would just follow me for one post, and I was very new to it. So that was my first milestone, and I slowly picked up the pace. At that time, Instagram's algorithm was very friendly to content creators, and
Yeah.
but we used to get a lot of likes and followers. But nowadays, it's a bit of challenge for us, and slowly I picked pace from social Mador marketing to social samosa, and then I was part of ad parodies content team as well for a
Team.
brief
Yeah.
period of time, and we did quite a few campaigns, and I must say that it was one of the nurturing relationship I had with the ad parody. And then I moved to MBA, and got I lost my connection with Instagram's content creation team or the whole community. So I'm again picking up the relation back to where I left. So That's my whole journey of Instagram, and how I started from my college, then my first featured post on Mado Marketing, then being part of Ad Parody account, and now I'm just a solo rider who's struggling with
Yeah.
Instagram's algorithm.
Everyone surely does. Yeah,
Uh,
the struggle part is real. So like, yeah,
Very
now,
real.
now the Instagram, yeah, like it's now focusing just on reels and like short video content and
Yeah,
everything.
and
Yeah.
we are
So
very shy to do a reel. We already get
yeah,
judged on our post. There was one time
yeah,
where my friend came and he told me that your posts are nice, but you're trying really hard. To which I replied that I have to try hard because Instagram
yeah,
algorithm is not letting me get to that reach. So I have to try hard.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, surely. So like whatever you shared here. So the first thing I want to note I noticed is like the exposure to like what we have to choose in our career and like what we have to really do. That bit of exposure from our parents or from our society is something that we get late in our career. So like you got to understand it like when you were in your BMM, when you have already got into that course. So it's the same case with me. I believe that getting that part of exposure for like what we have to do really do in our career is we have to get it early so that we can like start off and take off earlier. And also like for your context, like most of the people watching this won't know what is Ad Parody, Social Samosa, or Mad Over Marketing. So these are Instagram pages which have more than like hundred of thousands of followers, and I believe Mad Over Marketing is almost about to reach 1 million followers, right? Yeah, so these are very big pages, and like Sunil has worked with them, so he has a lot of experience with it. So Sunil, just like I wanted to ask this question, so I'm also new in this field. So how has marketing and advertisement evolved over the years? Like earlier, like I said, like my grandfather just knew that marketing is just about selling and advertisement is just about print media and everything. So according to you, how has everything evolved, and still, how is it evolving right now?
So if I talk about advertising, then things have certainly moved in a very wrong direction. I must not say this, but if you if I ask you a question, let's say how many ads do you remember from your childhood? You would say probably many,
Yeah,
many. And if I name the brands, then I must say. Uh, uh, Brands such as Five Star, Mentos, Happy Dent, and Bisleri. I in fact wrote a list of brands or the advertisements I remember from my childhood. Center Fresh, Bisleri, Big Baboon. You still remember that song of this bird having two eggs and then one turtle egg come
yeah, yeah.
rolling down, and you remember every bit of it. And
Parle G, Kacha Nimbu Bite, the
Parle G,
Xerox one. Yeah,
exactly. Boomer. Every
yeah,
ad, all of these ads have a special place in our mind. And if I
right.
ask you any recent ad, do you remember? It would
No,
be
it's
very hard for us to remember a recent ad because all of these have taken a turn which which is not really right because they have lost the vision of what exactly an advertisement means. So advertisement is basically more like a, more like a chance for us to have a place in consumers' mind.
mind,
So
right?
right, and nowadays these advertisements are just sake of advertisement to a get a slot in prime time. That's it. They will talk about features, etc., etc. But a consumer, the the awareness objective. So advertisements are majorly have one objective of brand awareness. And if you talk about your object, your features, your this and that, then consumers have a lot of information, and they don't really remember a brand for their features or a list of features they have. They'll remember about how they make you feel. So all of these brands have one thing in common, that is a plot of humor.
Yeah,
So they use humor to have a place in your mind. Everybody remember Five Star ads, right?
yeah, yeah,
पिताजी की पतलून एक बिलान छोटी कर दो. you still remember, and it's been like 5-10 years and they are still going with it. Feviquick, that product is so boring. Adhesive, फर्नीचर पे लगाने वाला
सिर्फ लगाने
adhesive.
वाला, या ग्लू.
Yeah,
या
it's so simple product, but they still manage to make it fun, and you still remember Fevikwik or Fevicol ads, and Center Fresh chewing gum. If you remember that ad, where there's a huge palace and those workers
या
run with a happy tent in
लाइट. या 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 ऑलमोस्ट या
the,
15
yeah.
20 years. या right, like I also believe with my experience that earlier advertisement and marketing was all about how you can make the consumer aware of your brand. Like there was no such lead generation or conversion activity happening there. It was just like how I can reach my brand through the how can I grab eyeballs. That was just the main idea, I believe. Now it's like more about lead generation, and now like you're talking about Swiggy and Zomato, who are making it happen like a two-way communication. How consumers can even benefit from a single ad, and how they can improve their experience themselves. So now it's more about like how you can generate that lead, how you can convert it, because like there are many platforms and various pathways through which you can literally connect to a consumer, and how you can convert them. So yeah, so this is basically how the video advertisement scene is working right now. So I also believe that you I also know that you work on blogs and like written content and everything. So do you have any insights with that, like how is it evolving, and like how is it like earlier people used to read newspapers and everything. Yeah, now the attention span, or like grabbing that consumers attention is just left to three words or 15 seconds. That's what I believe. Yeah. So what are the insights for that?
So I never written a blog. It's as a content creator or an advertising enthusiast. My job is to get uh, get it done in under 15 seconds. So writing a blog or even reading a blog takes a lot of time. So I never try to jump into it. But I do write one-liners, two-liners, and so the bitter truth or a bitter fact of advertisement is that we can't measure it. So why do okay? Let's get to the basics, to the fundamentals. Why do brands do advertisements? Basically to increase their sale, right? The bottom line or the bottom objective is to increase their sales, to increase their revenue, and we can't really measure any advertisement in terms of revenue, in terms of sales. Although nowadays marketing, I say marketing and advertising, they're a little bit different as well. But if I talk about marketing, we can measure it with with the impressions or with the open rate or click rate. We can measure it. Use tracking is easy using coupon etc. But if I talk about advertisements, we can't really measure it. So that's one bit of truth about it. Start. I'll show my finger once. Oh, okay. Now we can start. Okay, start. So what I was talking about? Yeah. Yes. So it is very hard to justify the outcome of advertisement. So that's one thing. And okay, the bias about themes. So there is a bias in the themes as well. So what works and what not works in themes. So first is humor always work. Second is fear. Sometimes fear in case of insurance, in case of tires, or even in the recent case, uh, Tata Motors advertisements or social media strategies working because they have received 5-star ratings in safety. So they are again working with humor as well as fear as theme for their social media posts as well as advertisements. So apart from that, there are a lot of themes such as emotional theme, social theme, which are okay. Which again, if I go back to the basics, the attention span is around 6 to 8 seconds, and to establish that social or emotional theme, you will need context, you will need time, to build that connection with advertisement and the watcher or the viewer of the advertisement. So humor and fear always work. In combination as well, they work. And rest are okay. If you want to win an award or something, then social awareness or emotional theme will work.
Yeah, it's like all about like how you can control the emotions of the like the person who is like watching you, or the uh, like the customers. Like basically it's a common thing in sales. Like there is a hamburger theory called in sales, where you play with the emotions of the like the prospect. So you make him emotionally, like you tell him what are the threats if you don't do this, and what are the benefits if you do this. So yeah, these are the things how you can play out with them. So basically in the content creation space, I believe it's also more about visuals and other parts. So like there are many creators and many blogs and everything speaking about how colors are important, how words are important and everything. So tell me more about that. Like, do colors really play a role, and like if they do, then how do they work, and like what do, like, yeah, just about that.
Work for user journey. So colors, psychology, text,
Yeah.
and everything works for user experience. And
Yeah.
in case of Instagram or such content creation post, then I would say okay, that plays a little bit part, but not as much. I don't know how to design graphic or any illustration, so I always work with words.
Yeah.
I know a little bit of Photoshop. I never did a tutor or a certification of Photoshop. I
Yeah.
learned from YouTube
YouTube.
and I work my way around it. But using few of tools from Photoshop. But I don't know how to. I tried Illustrator, but it takes a lot of efforts and patience to get that image from your mind to the
Yeah.
computer. So that's really hard part of it, and it's one of the important aspect. If you see the Vivek Chaudhary's account, he's working with Zomato and
Yeah.
Chai Boy. He's also I must not mention the company, but he is quite good at visuals as well, and
Yeah.
I think it plays visuals play a major part for Instagram, but
Yeah.
color psychology. All you have to do is make sure that the colors and text are readable, so that the
Right.
user gets the content or context easily. That's it.
Right. So like you're talking about text, colors and everything, the psychology behind it and everything. So like as you said, now working on Illustrator, like bringing what's on your mind to on the artboard, it's very difficult. Like converting that idea into a product is very difficult. So like what is your process behind your like your wordplays, creatives? Like to tell you guys that Sunil has a very great hand on Photoshop and everything. Like it's like above average, and it's very great. Like how he works with the colors, how he works with the text fonts, and like how he works with the placing of the fonts and everything. I know that it's very difficult where you have reached right now, and it's not easy. Like you're telling it very vaguely, but yeah, it's very like it's you have expertise in that. So like talk to me about how that whole process works. Like how do you start with an idea, and how do you put it on the artboard, and like from your mind to Instagram, how does it work? Yeah.
So I know Dhananjay said that I have Photoshop skills rated at average or above average, but let me tell you the truth. I know very little about Photoshop. I'll say average. I would say average is fine, or maybe below average. But I know my
Yeah.
way around, so I don't
Yeah.
know lot of tools, but I know YouTube, and YouTube knows tutorials, and tutorials will
Yeah.
teach me, right? So
Yeah.
that's one thing.
No,
And
like the space you're working in, at that space, you know a lot about Photoshop. Like I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah, I
about
know.
that.
Right now, I know.
Yeah. 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 So
So
yeah.
my brainstorming techniques. I learned it from a professor in my college, and
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it's called, but I'll tell you the process. So, suppose
Yeah.
suppose there is a day or a special event coming in the calendar or in the upcoming week. So I'll start writing down 20 adjectives around the event, and then I'll start shortlisting 5 to 10 which are the most important about the event, and then I'll try to make a connection between two or three and make a post. So I'll give an example. Suppose there's Krishna Janmashtami, okay?
Right.
And
Yeah.
if I want to make a post on Krishna Janmashtami, then I would start writing down 10, 20 adjectives or even words. It could be anything. It could be feelings, it could be love, it could be curd, it could be matki, it could be flute, it could be that savla color of Krishna Bhagwan. It could be
Yeah.
anything. So I'll just start writing down all of these, and then I'll shortlist few of them, such as if I want, then I'll make short list such as Makhan, because
Yeah.
Krishna Bhagwan love Makhan. Then I would
Yeah.
make Matki shortlisted. I'll
Right.
Makhan, I'll go with Makhan, curd, then Matki, and few of more. And now
Yeah.
I have narrowed down those words into very specific. So I'll try to make a one liner or two liner with all of the shortlisted words. So I'll start with Makhan. So if I want to make a small, very small one-liner post, I would just write something like roti. What are the three basic needs now? Roti, kapda, and makhan. So I have replaced makan, roti, kapda, makan with roti, kapda, makhan.
Makan. Yeah.
Similarly, I'll try to fit all the other shortlisted words. So I will struggle with it because it's very hard. It's
Yeah.
very
Of course.
tedious thing, and then
Yeah.
and then once you shortlist down, you will have second thoughts whether the users will like or not. Because that's one thing that every young content creator should avoid. You should not judge your own work, or neither let others judge the work, because even if they do, you don't really let it to your heart, because it's very subjective. Creative is very subjective. Some people like it, some people not like it. But you should not restrict yourself. Then okay, maybe what if my users don't like it? You'll never know once you put it out. So it's important that every idea should be uploaded or should be put in front of users. Even though, let's say, I used roti kapda and makhan as my Instagram post, I'll try to bring the other ideas on my Instagram story as well, just to put it out.
Yeah.
Not for my post, but I will put it out on Instagram. So
Yeah.
again, if I revise my technique, I'll shortlist one event, then write down 15 20 words around it. So it's again, some people call it mind mapping. I don't really know what exactly it's called. Word mapping, mind mapping,
Yeah.
and then shortlist 4 to 5 uh, words or adjectives which really define the event or really define that post, and then make my way around. So that's one thing I learned. I know there are a lot of techniques, but I never bothered to put them in practice, because these this was doing really fine job for me. So
Yeah, like understanding your process, I believe that you first work on the words, and these words are something like which are subconsciously attached to an event. So Janmashtami, as you said, like matki, makhan, and like the color and everything is subconsciously attached, and like from the like from our childhood till now, we know that if we see makhan and matki, then of course it will be related to something, to Krishna. So yeah, so it is working subconsciously and how you play those words out. So yeah, that's how things work. Yeah, so yeah, great. So I don't know if you know this, but I also have a code page where I write codes and wordplays and everything similar to like that. So I started this back in my 8th standard or 9th standard. I don't know the exact date, but yeah, this is also like codes also work something like this. So the main idea behind me putting out content was like what I'm experiencing in a day, I'm just putting it out in just 4 to 5 words, like in a quote or in a wordplay, so that I have record like how I have come through these years, or like how it's also helping me like putting down my feelings in words. So yeah, every like most of the people say that तेरा content and उसका content same है, but the process behind it, the experience behind it is way different than your and mine content. So yeah, so next thing that I also wanted to address is like you and me, like earlier we were just people watching other people on YouTube or Instagram, we were the consumers of content. And now you said that it is very easy to learn Photoshop, Illustrator, or any software through YouTube. And like this is something what I notice is like people are like no consumers are converting into content creators. And like each and everyone, no matter what, if it's a 15-year like a young boy from who's just going to school, he's also trying to put out some gaming videos or some funny videos on Instagram or Facebook. So yeah, obviously that transition of people, consumers changing, like converting into content creators, I think like not everyone does that, but yeah, some percentage of the audience is like converting. So what's your thought on that? Like, what is the main reason behind this happening? And like, yeah,
They are putting us out of our job now because because it's very easy nowadays. All you have to do is post a selfie with the product, and there you go, you are a content creator now. So these
influencer.
brands, everything was started with TikTok, I guess. I'm
Yeah,
not sure where it got. Where it got started, but I believe it started with TikTok and then it disrupted everything in the space of mini ambassadors. So everybody wants to be a mini influencer, I would say,
yeah, micro
and
influencer.
yeah, micro influencers.
Yeah,
And even a lot of brands approach me to be a mini influencer, but we content creators are very shy in front of cameras, and so let me just put it in a way that micro influencers won't get hurt, and as well as our voice or our content creators as a
fellow
community,
creators.
yeah,
Yeah,
fellow creators' voice should also be heard. So content micro influencers are are not really a thing if I talk about in a long term run,
yeah,
because these the influencers, actual influencers, the real influencers are those who put out their testimony or a word out there, and people buy looking at them or looking at their product and looking at their experience, and then they go forward with the purchase. So there is no way to measure it. Although it will bring eyes, but what what good it will bring if the product is not being purchased from their
yeah,
loyal followers.
followers.
So I don't really follow much of micro influencers, but there's one thing which I read in 2018 or 2019 that a lot of brands, a lot of big brands, were thinking about including TikTok into their marketing or advertising strategy, and now you know that TikTok is not
No
really
more. Yeah,
no more in India, I must say.
yeah,
And although there
yeah.
are a lot of other apps, Chingari and MX, Takatak,
Moj.
yeah, Moj, ShareChat, they are working really hard. But the way TikTok captured, or the way TikTok was trending or viral in Indian territory, it was phenomenal. But again, it's not really a thing for a long term. Things might change in any direction. Although you want to be part of it, but you'll never know if it really worked or not. So in marketing, there is A and B testing where you will find out what's working and what's not working. But in
Right.
this case, you can't really know what's working. So I am a bit cynical about micro influencers.
So yeah, so like I would like to put this thought across. Like I wanted to have this conversation from a very long time, but yeah, I think today is the right time. So as you were telling, like TikTok was the thing that initiated this wave of consumers turning into content creators. So I believe that this is the same thing that is happened with Facebook. Like the main thing that they captured on was like how easy is their app to use and operate and to put out content. So Facebook, there was a time when only youngsters and like the Gen Z or the millennials used to use Facebook, and slowly it transited into parents and other relatives also jumping into Facebook because it was very easy to operate and it was very easy to use and upload photos. And I believe the same tactic or the thing that TikTok had captured was like how easy it is to put out content, how easy it is to record a video, edit on the same platform, and upload on the same platform. This is the thing that most social media apps or companies have not yet targeted right now, and Instagram is slowly doing it, and it has almost done it, I believe. So yeah, TikTok was the thing that had uh, initiated this wave, and that's how people started converting and people started getting into content creation. And talking about macro influencers, like I have worked in a influencer marketing agency, so most of the brands that are coming in, their priority is not on like working with big influencers or like people with almost millions of followers or everything. Like they are focused on macro influencers, but quality ones with good engagement and everything, the technical terms aside. But yeah, the thing is that they are getting to reach more people, like a vast demography, like people from different age groups, different areas, tier 2, tier 3 cities also. And yeah, because and it is also cheaper for them because they are working with such. Yeah, so yeah, these are the things that also work out from the brand side of things and also work for influencers. But as you said, that they have a very short shelf life, or they can't work with this for a very long time because they are just putting out what they are getting, and like there's no such kind of content that they are putting out. They're just showcasing their body, and they are like, I don't say that they will have a personality of some kind, but yeah, showcasing their body and showcasing their lifestyle is what currently working in the market.
Actually, that works in luxury brands. So,
Yeah,
luxury brands such as Mercedes or Audis, or even in apparels. So, in clothing
yeah,
industry, if the brand is on high end, then lifestyle. Okay, there's another theme which I forgot to mention. It's lifestyle advertising where you showcase your lifestyle and the viewers they try to aspire it. Okay, I want such kind of
yeah,
lifestyle, and hence
lifestyle.
they will go forward with the product. So that's
Yeah,
one thing which
yeah,
works
because
in the,
now
yeah.
because now brands are trying to attach their products with a person or a personality, so that people relate to that personality and also relate to that product. So yeah, that brand ambassador thing, it's been going on for a long time, but it is now evolving. And yeah, also I wanted to include this, like now there are restrictions on influencer marketing, and there are new laws that will be governing this industry right now. So what are your views on that? Like it was very vulnerable, not vulnerable in the past, but like it was a very open market, like anyone could exploit this market and do anything that they want and generate any kind of like financially anything, or like they could influence any set of audience. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Like how will this change the industry?
So I am not very familiar with any laws, but I kind of okay, I am not sure about the laws on
No,
Instagram's.
like the like laws, like not yeah, it's drafted right now, but like the thing is that you have to mention that it is an ad. So if I don't know if I uploaded any video on YouTube, or like you guys do, there is an option to check mark if this video includes a paid promotion. So the box appears in the starting of the video that this has paid promotions in this video. And also influencers now have to mention that this is an ad by putting like something like hashtag advertisement, hashtag ad, hashtag paid partnership, or something like that. So this space was earlier very easy to like exploit, and you could just put out any message out there subliminally towards any brand or anything, and this was very easy to exploit. So yeah, that's what I believe, that this space is also going to evolve, and it will be more regulated, and more secure for the audience to consume, and also for brands to enter. So yeah, that's what I believe. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I have no idea. I think the relationship between my Instagram page has been really broken, and I have no idea about these. I should get back into business now in the space now. Yeah. Uh, be very honest, things are looking very bleak now because uh, privacy is something that everybody is getting conscious about. And as a late boomer, I would say they were very aggressive on privacy, but slowly after late boomers, people got very eased about such things. And then when Facebook came, again it started showing signs that privacy is something that should be kept within four walls, and which is really breached now. Every time I do a small Google search about let's say a kitchen fan, I'll start getting advertisements on every platform I'm using, from Instagram to YouTube to Facebook, even on my on any blog page I'm reading, I'll get an advertisement that somebody is watching over me, and that really creeps me out. So I deleted my account on Facebook. I'm just active on Instagram now, and soon maybe I don't know, but I might delete that as well because I feel like somebody is lingering over my shoulder, watching out what I'm doing, what I'm typing, what I'm texting to my friends, and that really creeps everybody out. In fact, and with the recent update or a major step from Apple is that these brands or Facebook or Instagram, these third party advertisers may not get a chance to target Apple users because of privacy, and these brand or ad targeting won't work much on Apple users, which might be or might not be a good thing for Apple because in US, let's say, since US is the major market for Apple products, and they really care about their privacy. So that would be really a step forward for Apple sales. But in India, we are learning about our privacy. Uh, we are still in that phase that should we ignore our privacy, or should it be kept in those four walls? But if since these brands are working really hard on such targeted advertisements, they majorly get the impressions, the results from such advertisements. And if Apple is going forward with such a major step, I know Google or Android won't do it because after all, that's the major revenue they are getting from the advertisements. And if a consumer feels that the privacy is not there anymore, then it would be hard for advertisers. So that's one thing which I'm really conscious about. Privacy should not be breached. So if as long as that one aspect is there uh, in in the morale of advertisers, then won't be a problem because even if Apple goes with such policy, which they have already gone with, obviously it's a great benefit for Apple. And if they come up with their some sort of advertisements, then probably it's a good thing for Apple. But the rest of space might be
Yeah, I
disrupted.
also believe that the main idea behind this whole privacy and everything, the brands, like, they really need the data to target you, to like get into your literally get into your mind and just subliminally, subconsciously, or use any term, and they just want you to buy their product. So the whole idea behind is that how I can get the data about this particular person, at what time he wakes up, at what time he has his breakfast, so that Swiggy can target you with ads so that you buy your breakfast from Swiggy or Zomato. So yeah, it's all about data. And like like you, many of you have heard that data is the new gold of this digital age. So how brands can get that data and how they can use for their own benefit is the thing. Like there are various ways through which we uh, put our digital footprints through on various websites, signing up for newsletters, cookies, our email address on each, like, I don't know, like everywhere, almost everywhere. So how this, yeah, yeah,
I'll tell you one story as well. So a few weeks back, or a few months back,
yeah,
my right eye was twitching, and I just wrote one word in Google search, and it showed me the whole suggestion on, is your right eye, or is your eye twitching, or specifically, is your right eye twitching? And I felt like, are they watching me? At that point of time, I deleted my Facebook account, which I really feel molested, because
yeah.
why are you watching me every day, every single second of my day? And that was one aspect which I felt that in future it would impact a lot
Yeah,
my
sure. Like,
experience on
I will tell
business.
my side of the experience. So, I have a Amazon Prime account, and also I keep using Amazon like more often to listen music or anything. So just one day, I have not enabled permission for microphone and for file manager for the apps related to Amazon, because there have been many news out there and everything. So one day, I think my brother was using my phone to find something on Amazon. So he used the mic option, so that you can use voice and search a product. So he enabled the permission for microphone. And after that, Alexa is something that we know that, yeah, it is a speaker that we keep at our home, and like it will help us with the information and everything. But Alexa is linked to the Amazon app as well. So I don't know if it is true or what, but I believe that Amazon was constantly listening to me for that whole day, and Alexa was on my phone, like it was listening to me. And like I used to get targeted ads related to whatever the terms that I have been speaking the whole day. So yeah, these are the things that most people like don't pay attention to. But yeah, that is the thing that is happening. Like there are many new website and software that have come out. Like you can pay a nominal fee of like just 15 to $35. And you can target a ad in your mother's or your father's phone. Like suppose if you are in the age of 18 or 19 and you want a new bike, so you can just target a Royal Enfield ad on your mother's or father's phone, that telling them the benefits, how this bike can help your child, and why you should like buy this bike for your child. So yeah, that are the things. I cannot currently recollect the name of that website. If I do, I'll surely put it on the screen. And so that's how the things are working right now in the market, and you can just easily target just a single IP address, and you can just go anywhere in the world and do anything. So the world is like, the digital world has evolved over like very like hugely. And also AI websites and machine learning websites coming up. Now you can easily color a black and white photo or add animation to it and make your face or your grandfather's face moving. Yes, yeah, the things are evolving. And I think if there is like as I said, there are laws that are coming out to govern this whole industry. And if there are laws and if they allow creative freedom and everything, and I think then the space will evolve in a good space. But also, as a market grows, there are people who jump into this market and like make this whole market, like they destroy the whole market with their like doing unethical things or unethical activities. So yeah, it's always on how this market is in, if this market is in good hands, or like if it's like similarly on bad hands, like just to influence people in the wrong direction. So yeah, that are my thoughts currently on this. Like, would you like to add something to this?
I'll just add an idea of another post which I might or might not work for Instagram. So if I talk about privacy,
Yeah,
like you mentioned your experience
yeah,
and I shared mine.
yeah,
So basically, if you remember that Vikram Betal
yeah, yeah,
show, so Vikram would be consumers and Betal who is riding a piggyback ride would be these target ads or
brands. Yeah,
Google or Amazon. So that's one thing which I might
I
create
gave
now
an
for
idea.
Instagram. So basically they are
Yeah.
piggyback riding us for data. So I feel very violated
Yeah,
when
like like
Instagrams.
Google for instance, uh, many people, like, we use, there are n number of apps that Google, like services that Google offers us. Like the whole Microsoft Office space is now on Google. You can use docs, slides, sheets and everything, and it's just easy. We think that it is free, but like the data that we are entering, the time we are spending on Chrome, and of course this Meet, we don't know that. Of course Google has access to this Meet. They might just get back, listen to this, and even ban you and me from Google the next day. We don't know, but yeah, that's it. Like people are like all, like they're starting to get aware of this and switching platforms. Like earlier we used to use file, like Internet Explorer, then Mozilla Firefox, then now Google is the thing right now. Yahoo also was there, and now people are trying to get into new platforms where their data is more secured and their privacy is more secured. Yeah, and like how they can go ahead with that and stay safe in this digital world. So yeah, we think that Google is a great company, the CEO is from India and everything, it is a very safe company, but yeah, the data comes at a cost and we are paying it. Like nothing is free in this internet age. So yeah, surely we are paying it, and like it just transitions, the medium is just transitioning, and yeah, things will evolve eventually. So yeah, would you like to add some concluding thoughts to this podcast?
Yeah. Okay. So if I'll just put few thoughts on
Yeah, sure.
content creation and then
Yeah,
the whole advertising. And I will also add on why I moved from advertising to consulting or service marketing. So I'll start with content creation. So if you have an idea, just go forward with it. Don't judge yourself or your content or your work. You'll never know unless and until you put it on the platform whether people like it or not. So every idea is a great idea. There might be cases where these ideas have already been done before. So that doesn't mean that you've copied it. You just have a similar thought process, which should encourage you to put more thought or put more ideation into the post and try to bring a process to it. So every if it's a systematic process, then it will surely help you to be consistent on it. And when you want to grow on Instagram, consistency is the key. Although I'm not very consistent on Instagram, although I might come back, might not, but that's a thing I still have to decide. Although these wordplays, I'm not putting it on Instagram, but I do use it on my friends, and they are already fed up with it. So that's one thing. So bring process to to the post, and never judge your work. And if you think that brainstorming techniques will help, then just try it out. Don't just try it out for one post. Make it a habit of at least trying it for a week so that you get a hang of it. You may not like it or you may not get ideas at the initial stage of trying that technique, after a week, you might get some good ideas. You might get a hang of it. And advertising as an industry, I would say that privacy is getting very much importance in consumers' life nowadays. And if an advertisement is just about product or there is no stimulus to it, then it would be really hard for a consumer to recall it. So there has to be some kind of stimulus in the advertisement, in the post, or somewhere in the messaging strategy. So when I talk about stimulus, I'll just give you an example of silence stimulus. So basically, what it means is that there has to be some kind of music or a sound effect in advertisement which reminds a consumer when they heard. So the best example would be Nokia's caller tunes. Every time there is a that caller tune is rung in a background or in some space, you will
Yeah,
instantly know that it's Nokia. Similarly with Airtel, that A.R. Rahman's tune, it's very famous. It will directly move consumers' mind towards Airtel. So okay, that tune is definitely of Airtel. So that's
jingles.
that kind of
Yeah,
uh, jingles, yeah. That kind of recall is more important. Even nowadays, in recent times, I would say, Airtel, not Airtel, Paytm's that trading music. Every time you make a
yeah,
payment,
yeah.
you will hear the trading music, and that really helped the shopkeepers nowadays. So every time you don't have to look on the screen whether you receive the payment or not. You will just hear trading, and okay, now that you know, you have an assurance that okay, payment has been received. So these kind of stimulus has to be part of the advertising and marketing strategy of a brand. And the reason why I moved away from advertising towards consulting and service marketing is the impact. So I really wanted to make a direct impact. So I'll give you a classic example of Tata Motors. So nowadays Tata Motors have given out really great products with 5-star ratings and top of the line features in the market. Nexon has been doing great. Altrosar is doing really great with the recent sales numbers. The number is around 30,000, around 29,000 plus, which is close to 30,000. Although Maruti Suzuki is
Yeah,
dominating the space with one lakh
yeah,
50,000 vehicles
yeah.
in
Almost
1 month. Okay,
48% market share in the
and
automobiles. Yeah,
40,
yeah.
yeah, 49%
Maruti. Yeah,
is from Maruti Suzuki. Earlier, Hyundai was doing really great. Mahindra is still doing really
yeah,
great, but the numbers are really less. It's around 4,000,
yeah.
14,000, 15,000. Hyundai is at 20,000 something. It's somewhere, I'm not
17%
sure about
market share
Hyundai's number,
right
but
now.
that,
Hyundai.
yeah. And Tata Motors, the recent sales figures are 30,000. So they are giving out really great product. But again, if I look from a consumer's perspective, even I want to buy a car, and every time I go to Tata Motors, I have this one thing in my mind: would the after sales service would be as
Yeah,
compared to Hyundai and Maruti Suzuki, would be good or not? Because the image
Tata.
right now of Tata Motors
Right,
service
right.
is really bad. So when it comes to service marketing, uh, my job would be okay. By definition, service marketing is that uh, how will you project your service in front of consumers. That's the crux of service marketing. How you behave, how you interact with consumers. Since you don't have a product, you can't just show, okay, that's my that's my product and see how good it is. But you can't do it in terms of services. So you have to there are a lot of aspects in service marketing which directly affects the business, and that's that at that stage I felt that advertising brings a lot of awareness, lot of brand image towards in consumers' mind, but service marketing would really help me make a direct impact, an impact which I can see and feel and be proud of it. So that's my opinion of it, and hence I moved towards
Yeah, like
service
I
marketing.
would also like to add to this because I have also been creating content for almost 2 to 3 years. Like I don't do current right now because I have also moved out from it. But when I used to post quotes like poems and wordplays and everything, so the main thing is how do you define your own process. So first define the process of how do you create content and then how do you deliver it to the audience. Like if you work in any organization at any level, there is a plan that you have to follow. Like, this is your business, like treat it as your business. Of course, this won't generate any revenue for you, but treat it as a business if you really want to grow. And of course it will in the longer run if you do it correctly. So make a process, like how a follower will land on your page, how he will go through your content, how he will convert into a follower, and then eventually how into a consumer, and how he will interact with you and engage with your page. So that is the process that you have to figure out initially with your page and with your content. For that you have to be aware like what really you are putting out, and which target audience you want to target, and the demographics that you want to target. This may seem a little bit complex to everyone, but this is the truth that most this is the truth that you have to follow and really know when you're doing something seriously. And if you do this correctly and if you do this efficiently, I'm sure like like in this podcast he has given a lot of like what I would say a secrets, like tagging huge pages. Like I also tag huge influencers. Like if I write quote and I need a background for it, right? I need a picture that has to go behind the quote. So something relating to that, I used to use a photo of an influencer, just put it in the background and put my quote in front of it, and just tag that influencer. If that influencer likes it, he used to share it on his story. So there is a YouTuber called as Jet Prabjot, is a vlogger. So I really needed a photo, and I was just searching on Instagram, and I just found this page, and just I put his photo and just tagged him, and he reshared in his story. And I almost got similarly 100 to 150 followers and almost more than 1000 likes on it. So yeah, that's how things work. This is the process that I got into. I used my mind, I brainstormed this idea and just put it into the paper, and then executed it, and result surely will come out. And consistency is the thing that you have to follow. I know this is the advice that is coming from a wrong person who is posting his podcast on his channel after literally 5 months. But consistency is the thing that you have to follow. TikTokers who have got like huge followers, now people who are posting videos on reels who are getting huge numbers, is because of their consistency. Posting a video a day or almost 3 videos a day is what gaining them attention. So that's how, these are the processes that you have to identify your niche and how you can go ahead with this. So yeah, that is what I wanted to share with. Yeah, I want to add something.
No, I think you have got all the
Yeah,
points
yeah.
we discussed about.
Yeah, so this is the last question that I ask in every podcast and to my all the guests. So, what is the one piece of advice that you would like to give the teenager out there? Any teenager?
Uh, for okay, there are a lot of things which
Yeah.
I can give an advice on, but let's just narrow it down
Okay.
to content creation. So every time you have an idea, write it down on paper. First make it work on paper and then move on to digital platform, because every time you move directly to digital space, you might get lost on the idea. You might feel that okay, that's not really working on how it came in my mind. So best way is to write it down on paper, make it work on paper, or and then move on to the digital space. In that way, you will get a guideline on what to do next, or how to proceed. So that's one thing I would recommend. Even even for my email communication, since I'm working in a consultancy, we do depend on a lot
Yeah,
of email marketing. And every time I make a design, I
yeah.
first put it on paper and then move on to Photoshop or Illustrator. So that's one thing that is a must for a beginner, or even
Yeah,
for a
like
professional.
also if you are someone who is not interested in content creation or just watching it here for the knowledge, like this is a very important tip that he is giving here. Put it on paper and then like try to execute it. Of course, if you just put it on paper and keep it, then there is no use of it. Like if we are recording this podcast, to be honest, we I have decided a flow. Of course, this is all not scripted, or we don't have anything scripted. Like you will tell this line only. Yeah, of course, but I have a flow. Like what I want to discuss in this podcast. What are the important points that we want to discuss in this podcast? So once you have this in any part of your life, if you're content creation, working with someone, or like doing your own business, or any kind of gig that you're doing, if you have something on paper, you have a clear idea, you have a framework that you can work on. So that is the important tip that you can take from this podcast. And also, this is not the only thing that you have learned on this podcast. There are a lot of things that you have learned, and surely I'm sure that if you would have taken some course on content creation on some platform, or some the new digital coaches that have come up on YouTube and Instagram, they would surely have charged you almost 1000 to 2000 rupees for this. And like, this is a free of information, you just invest your time, and you can just like gain so much of experiences. So yeah, if you want to know more about this, you can surely connect him on his Instagram. I will just link everything down in the description. Anywhere you're watching, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, wherever, anywhere, the links are down in the description. Go check him out. I'm sure that you will enjoy his content and the thing that he is putting out there. And surely get in touch with him if you have any questions, or if you want to work with him on anything. Surely he's a great person. Like, he agreed for this podcast in I just messaged them on Instagram, and just he just replied me, and just, yeah, cooperated with me. And I like to work with people like who are very cooperative and understand other fellow creators on the platform. Yeah.
I had to give back my learnings, my all of my experience to new generation. Although I don't feel like I'm old, but I'm
Yeah.
already 25, 26, and these new generations, they are just using the reels, and which makes me feel old, that I'm not doing it anymore on Instagram. So I have to give something back, all of my learnings, all of my experience. And it will surely get somebody, at least even a one person, get started after watching this. Then I'll be glad. I'll be happy that okay, I helped
Yeah, of course,
somebody.
there
So
is no end to anything. It's just that it keeps on evolving. Traditional media has evolved into a digital media. Now, digital media is evolving into different
yeah,
aspects and niches. It's just how you get into it, when you get into it, and how you get into it. So, yeah, just focus on that. And if you have any queries or anything in mind, if you want to discuss something, just reach out us on our DMs. We are open to discussions and anything, if any help you would need.
yes,
And most importantly, I would like to thank Sunil for joining today and giving us insightful and valuable insights on content creation and everything. And I'll make sure that we get again on a similar podcast and discuss more about. If you want that, just comment down below and show your response through likes. I'm not just begging it for it, but it surely helps to push this video to more people. Yeah.
true, true. And it was my pleasure, since it's my first podcast as well, and I was quite nervous at the beginning of the call, but that really went away once we started
Yeah.
interacting, and it felt really great to talk about the
Right.
industry that we are passionate about. And firstly, and lastly, I would say thank you so much for inviting me, because I would never done any podcast till now, and I might not have done in future as well. But this gives me a hang of it, and maybe I can even try reels as well. So let's see how things go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dhananjay, for inviting me
Surely, that's how
in
it
the
works.
podcast.
Like, we share ideas and we work on it. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching this
Right.
podcast. Hope you have a great day or a great night ahead, and enjoy your life, and keep watching the young author. Bye.
Bye.